Hello, I'm Natasha von Imhof and I represent Senate District L, and today my video is talking about the presser that the governor did this afternoon where he rolled out a constitutional amendment to SJR 6. So what does this amendment do? So first, it turns the permanent fund into a true endowment by folding the earnings reserve account into the principal, and then locks the annual 5% of market value draw on the fund into the Constitution. Second, it uses 50% of the annual POMV draw for dividends and 50% for the core state services. So we call that a 50-50 split. Then third, it moves the power cost equalization endowment into the permanent fund, and I fully agree with that. And then fourth, it transfers $3 billion from the permanent fund earnings reserve account and moves it into the constitutional budget reserve. This is a very significant ad hoc draw and puts a lot of pressure on the fund. So let's touch about this proposal. I'll go point by point. So first, I fully support turning the permanent fund into an endowment model with a maximum 5% draw of percent of market value draw each year. This will make sure we protect the fund over the long term, so we never take more than 5% of the fund each year. The 5% is a tried and true number that has been tested over time by all the endowments, foundations, and sovereign wealth funds, that it makes sure it maintains the growth and health of the fund over time. And secondly, I also fully support using the POMV draw from the permanent fund to support core state services. However, the proposal put forth by the governor and others to split the POMV 50-50 between the dividend and core state services is, yes, politically popular, but mathematically leads us to one place, and that's personal taxes. So let's look at the slide produced from Legislative Finance just a couple of hours ago, modeling the proposal the governor presented to his presser this afternoon. So as you can see, a 50-50 POMV split results in significant budget deficits, which is illustrated by the red bars on the left-hand side of the page. How much of those deficit? It is well over $1 billion each year for several years. This amount is so big, we are forced to talk about taxes. If we need to fill a multi-billion-dollar deficit, then we, the state, will have to tax all Alaskans personally in many different ways in order to balance the budget. Here is where I have a real problem. I just don't agree with taking money from your paycheck and depositing it into the personal checking account of your neighbor. So I used two documents, the Department of Revenue analysis from last summer and the Tax Foundation in DC that the governor hired last year to analyze the financial and to some degree the economic impact of various taxes. The calculations show in these documents that the kind of income taxes and sales tax revenue required from each individual will be far above anything that most of the population would receive in a dividend. Well, I commend the governor for proposing a plan. Nothing will impose taxes on working Alaskans faster than what he is suggesting. If you are not ready for a broad-based sales tax or an income tax, I urge you to let your legislator know, particularly those standing with the governor at his press conference today. Many of my constituents, and that includes those on a fixed income, they say, no way. I actually have a better idea. I propose that we create a new constitutionally protected, solely dedicated dividend fund. It will spin off 5% of its earnings each year just for a dividend. This will ensure that your children and grandchildren will receive a dividend well into the future. I call this fund the Alaska Resource Ownership Revenue Account, or ARORA for short. Stay tuned for my next video in a couple days, which I will expand on this concept. Thank you.